Learn how to convert key value pairs into an object using object from entries method. This example converts an array of fruit data into an object, then access one value. So let's go ahead and see how we can make this example together. So let's look at how we can use object entry to turn array into objects together. So in my script tag here, I have some commented out steps that we are going to follow in order to be able to see how an array can be converted into an object. So I already have this commented out steps, like I said, and let's begin. So the first thing reads that create an array of key value pairs. So we first need to create an array of key value pairs, as you can see in the comments. So how do we create an array of key value pairs? So let's name our array fruit, and then I'll put this square bracket. So inside it, I want to add key value pairs as element of that array. So that means for the first one, this is the key, and this is the value. So outside of this, I can make another one. I'll say maybe PS 500, and finally bananas 300. So now I have my key value pairs, as you can see it already. Number two, so step 2 says use object dot from entry. Now we need to apply this method, which is what we have here on our array, in order to be able to convert it. So how do I do that? Well, if you look at step 3, it says store up result in my object. So that means when you use this method, it should be stored in this variable. So I'm just going ahead and go ahead and make that variable count my obj equals to objects dot from entries, and inside it I want to pass in the value of my array. Then I can come down to document.get element by id demo dot inner html equals to my object dot yes, and now you can see 500. So what we are basically doing here is that we have this array that contains pairs of key value like apples, bananas, and the other one. Now, this method here, which is from entries, is what helps us convert this fruit array into an object. And now, if you look at this clearly, you will see that the value of what has been converted to object here was stored inside this my obj, and here we are just accessing that method directly and passing on what we want to see on our screen in order to extract value from it. So this my object.ps my object.ps text that you can see here is accessed, and then the value of it is displayed on the screen. So when you hear about key value pairs, so this is what it means in the concept of array. It's different in object, but in array this is key value pair. In object you often see something like this. If you are working with objects, so you often see something like this. So let's say I have an object of a person, and here you see something like first name, and you see job. So this is how it looks like in object, and you can see the difference between the two. So one is a key value pair that belongs to array, and the other is a key value pair that belongs to an object. So here we don't need this. I just use it as a demonstration to make us understand what key value pair formats are in regards to arrays and objects. Now, we've been able to see that arrays can be converted to objects. And once and how do we know that this our array has been converted to objects? We're able to know because after we apply this method on the array, we were able to use dot notation in order to access the element of the array, because dot notation only works with objects in order to access elements of an object. So assuming this has not been converted to an object, then it will not work. So for example, I just let's say I didn't include this method, and we go ahead and do something like this: fruit, the name of our array, dot ps. You can see that the value is undefined. That is because dot notation does not work on array, but it works only with our object. But because we've converted it here, so it was very easy to use the dot notation, because JavaScript understand that this is no longer an array but an object due to the presence of this from entries method that we've applied to it. So basically, we've been able to learn that from entries method turns array into objects, and it's useful for transforming data in order to make accessing their value easier. Now, here we can see how each pair contains a key and a value, and then apply this method to convert them into an object. And this immediately makes this array of pairs becomes an object. Now you might want to ask that method like this, what is it useful for? Well, this method is useful when working with structured data like APIs, or transformation like conversion from one data type to another. As you can see that we're able to convert from an array into an object. Object dot from entries method help you move array-based data to object-based data just for easier access and manipulation.